Thank you. So I am from West Virginia. I grew up there. So some of my fondest memories growing up in West Virginia were my time spent as a 4-H'er. And 4-H is a community of young people that are learning citizenship, leadership, and life skills. Now, some of my fondest memories is when we would have our 4-H club meetings and we would sit down in the basement of a church and 20 other young people sitting around, and we would, before our meeting started, we would recite the 4-H pledge. So it's, I pledge my head to clearer thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living for my club, my community, my country, and my world. The other thing that I remember is that there was this huge banner that hung on the wall, and it said, "To make the best better." Now, I know we've all here memorized things and sang songs when we were kids for school, and we really didn't understand exactly what they meant or how they were going to influence us. So I've worked in the nonprofit industry for 10 years. I've been a volunteer for 24 years. And now looking back, I realize that that pledge and this motto have really influenced how I've lived my life. Now you're probably wondering how this has to do with Richmond, Virginia, considering that this happened in West Virginia. But Richmond and Virginia has been really a strongly self-reliant state. We've our community that supports each other. We have nonprofits that are all around us that are helping this community thrive and stay alive. So leaders have always looked within our community and have identified the needs, and they've created organizations more than you could imagine. We have over 600 nonprofits that are currently active on Connect VA, which is a website that we all as a nonprofit community use to stay connected and know what each other's doing. And I'm sure everyone here has gotten an email or a Facebook post about the amazing raise in the past few days, right? So 570 charities qualified for the amazing raise and raised $1.5 million within this community. Absolutely amazing. And these organizations run and focus on a lot of different issues. Health and human services, education, animal welfare, poverty, preserving our history and culture like we do at the Valentine. Now the reality is with these nonprofit organizations, many of them operate on a shoestring budget. You know, $1.5 million, and all of that money that we've raised over the years, over this year, it supports those organizations is not enough to pay a huge staff. Many of those organizations only have one maybe part-time staff or one maybe full-time staff. And they really rely on those volunteers to help fulfill that mission. So when we think of volunteerism, it's easy for us to think of the things that we hear a lot about. Physical labor, like building a house for Habitat for Humanity, running a 5K, or serving meals for 1,000 people. And I don't want to detract from those volunteer activities, because those are important and they do exist. And we know that they're happening within our community. But what we don't realize is that there's some really unique talents that everyone within this community and in this room has that can help each of these nonprofit organizations that we're talking about really fulfill their mission, whatever it may be. So I got asked to do this talk, 6 days ago? And I had dinner with two of my best friends, and both of which work for two different nonprofits. And one of my friends works for a very small nonprofit, small staff, and they help the intellectually disabled live independent lives. And she was telling me the struggles that she was having in finding people within our community to serve on their board of directors. It's just amazing to me that within our community she was having just a small board of directors having trouble finding a volunteer to help. Now, also this week I met with the Valentine has Richmond History Makers, and I was meeting with one of our honorees, Harriet Scruggs, who works for the Reed Center. And the Reed Center is a small nonprofit that helps adults either learn to read or enhance their reading skills. And they rely on those volunteers. So that's the volunteers that we know about. But there's also volunteers behind the scenes. So when I was there visiting with her, she had a former CPA that's now retired that comes in weekly and works with Excel and helps her keep track of her budget. Because she's running, wearing many hats. She was also telling me about how she's really great with ideas and keeping this organization fresh and moving forward. But she has trouble putting those down into a PowerPoint presentation. So one of her former work studies is now a volunteer with her. She comes in, meets with Harriet, and makes a PowerPoint presentation for her. I mean, who could imagine volunteering for an organization and making a PowerPoint? Now, all of these organizations within our community, they're looking for, of course, people to serve on their board of directors, people to who have computer skills and help them with Excel, someone that knows social media and can help them create a Facebook page. The opportunities are endless. And it's not just limited to writing out a check or painting a wall or passing out a flyer. It's really, we each have these unique skills. So my challenge for you today is to go forth and find a nonprofit within our community that really speaks to your heart. And volunteer some of those times and some of your time and your talents with that nonprofit. We all know that Richmond is the best, right? So like the 4-H motto says, let's make the best better.